Hello, my name is Davis. I'm one of the developers of Tastee.ai, and I'm just going to take you on a quick little tutorial here of how to get value from this platform fast. So when you log into the platform, you're going to see something like this. This is the notes interface. You probably won't have any notes there yet. And once you add notes, which you do just by clicking in here and adding a title and some text, then you're going to see the notes below right here. We're going to get into what kind of notes you should add, but basically there are three kinds: custom instructions, things that are personal to your life, your business, things that are going to help the AI generate unique, personalized results for you rather than generic results, which is what it does by default. And then things like forms and proposals and templates that you're going to want to use to tell the AI how to structure whatever it is you're trying to generate. We're going to get into the different types of notes here next. So once you do have notes, though, you're going to want to know, how do I create a prompt from this? How do I do AI with Tastee.ai? Well, when you hover over any note, you're going to see this little checkbox down here. And when you select any number of notes, like these three notes, you're going to see it says three selected. And then you can go up here and then click Create Prompt. Now, when you do that, you're going to get a new prompt over here, and by default, it's just going to be named the time that you create it. You can just rename it like test prompt, and you're going to get the notes here in your prompt. So how is this different than something like ChatGPT? Well, so for example, like let's say that you want to change something about the custom instructions that you use for this prompt. So if you go here and edit it, maybe you say custom instructions for forms, right? And you save that. Then what you're going to see is when you go back to your notes, it's changed here in your notes. Well, why does that matter? Well, because we also use these custom instructions in this prompt. And we didn't change that prompt, but when we changed the note changed in the prompt. So why does this matter, this whole deal of the notes being in the prompts and the notes being able to change? Well, it's because then you can have prompts that you can rely on, that you can reuse, and you can change the notes that impact the prompts. So, for example, in this test prompt, you might find, oh, I have a new custom instruction that I found. Like, for example, maybe the AI is not including enough diverse voices in its response. So you could say something like here, include citations and references from prominent civic leaders who champion diversity in your responses when possible. So then when you save that little change to this note, well, that's going to impact every prompt where that note is included. So that means that you don't have to go and change all your prompts over and over again. And this concept can be pretty cool because when you go and do things like start collaborating on people with people on your notes, when those collaborators update those notes, maybe they improve customer testimonials or they add new data from your industry, then all of your notes are going to automatically impact all of the prompts that rely on those notes. All right, cool. So that's the basics of how you use notes to create the basics of prompts. And then oftentimes what you're going to want to do is just add some simple text that enables the prompt to flow like you would expect it to. So you might say, here's some background information I want you to consider. And then you just drag it up. And then you might say, here's some information about my business. And then you just drag that up here. And I'm just going to show you kind of how this can go. Well, like you might you might add a lot of different notes into your prompts because you have lots of different notes. And honestly, the more information, the more background information that you give to the AI, the better your results are going to be. They're going to be more personalized. They're going to be more about you, your clients, your life, your work. all that kind of stuff, your brand, your business, your industry, your country, right? Otherwise, the AI is just going to give you generic results. All right, so once you've structured your prompt, you're going to want to go up here and probably just copy it to the clipboard. And what that's going to do is it's just going to copy the text of your prompt. And you can use any AI model that you want. Like I use Claude a lot. So when you go here, you just paste in, and sometimes you're going to see that the prompt comes in as plain text. That's fine. It's still going to keep your prompt, and Claude is going to be able to interpret that prompt exactly as you expect. You can do the same in OpenAI, but if you have a super duper duper long prompt, then you're probably going to want to use Claude in my experience. Both of them have a free tier, and I'm sure that over time they're going to accept bigger and bigger prompts because that's where it always goes. So anyway, that's the basics of using notes and prompts. Now, what kind of notes might you want to have when you are using AI? Well, I like to think of this as three kinds of notes. So the first one is this idea of basically custom instructions. So what you're doing here is you're giving the AI general instructions for how you want it to operate. So ChatGPT, if you're somebody who uses ChatGPT a lot, like you know that you can put custom instructions in ChatGPT. But what I found is you want custom instructions that you use for different use cases. So for example, I have different custom instructions when I am having an AI model fill out a form. And if you ever want to edit them, it's easy to do right here. Versus like if I'm having an AI model do research for me, then I have different custom instructions. And I have different custom instructions for when I'm having it generate recipes for me. I'm a big cook. So I have custom instructions for different use cases. Like for example, when I'm cooking, I tell it my custom instructions are about like my kids, their dietary preferences, the kinds of cooking oils I like to use, the kind of machines that I have in my kitchen. Like for example, personally, I have a stand mixer. I use that all the time. And if the AI model didn't know that I had a stand mixer, it will never recommend recipes to me that use a stand mixer. I tell it that I like to use cast iron. Now it will know to generate recipes that use cast iron. So that's kind of the custom instructions thing. And then on the you get to this like context area. That's really where Tasty is really going to come to life is this context area. So this is when you're saving information about maybe your brand, maybe your target market, maybe your students, maybe your clients, maybe a client, um, maybe your jurisdiction, maybe laws that govern your industry, or best practices, or information about a venue if you're an event planner, or the tone that you like to use when you're writing. I actually have done things like included writing samples into my prompts so that the AI can see how I write, so that it will write closer to your unique, authentic voice rather than a really generic voice. So all of those can be elements of context. And I actually like to color code my notes. So you can do that right down here. And I like to label them as well, so that you can kind of really quickly see what notes you have when you're looking to add to a prompt. And if you're ever in a prompt and you think, oh, I want to add that note, then you can go up here and search your notes. And then you say, oh, cool, I want to add this. And so if you now, instead of saying create prompt, it'll say add to prompt. And you'll see what prompt you're on right here. So you can add it to the prompt. And then now it's down here. Maybe you just want to bring that up here. And I'm just going to remove it because I don't want it in this prompt. Cool. So you've basically got that first area, custom instructions, and then the second area is like all of this context information that you have. And then the third area are often these like forms or templates. It's basically structuring what you want AI to create for you. And so what I like to do is use this structure called Markdown. You don't really have to, but the main thing about Markdown is basically like creating these like headers versus the body text. So the header, to make like the biggest header, you just do one hashtag, and to make a smaller header, you do two. So like this, like if you've ever done HTML, this is an H2, here's an H1, and the AI understands this. Here's like an H3, so this is like a subheader. So basically just put a hashtag, one hashtag for a biggest header, two hashtags for the smaller, and then three hashtags for smaller than two. And what this is going to do is tell the AI, hey, here's like kind of the structure that I want you to follow. And then you just be really specific about what you want it to generate. You can see here, like, generate 1 to 3 sentences, and then, if appropriate, use a metaphor. Just remember, AI is not good for judgment. It will follow your directions specifically. So when you set up these templates or a form, like maybe a client proposal or an email template or a memo that you like to send on a weekly basis or something like that, just make sure that you're pretty specific about what you want the AI to generate, and then use that kind of at the end of your prompts. So that's really how you do use these notes, custom instructions, context, and then you call it output conditioning, but basically some type of template. And should give you much more custom, powerful results than even these like prompt websites that you do like plug in your industry or whatever. All that stuff is going to give you just really generic results because there's nothing really about you, your culture, your team, your unique situation. So if you use these practices, then you should find that you are able to get really personalized, nice, custom AI results really fast. And then again, when you're ready to use the prompt that you've designed, just copy it to the clipboard. And whenever you need to, you can come back and visit your prompts. You can share these with your collaborators and things like that. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to put two links on the screen for you. One of them is tst.wiki/example notes. And that should bring you here to this prompt, and you can copy this to your own profile by clicking this duplicate button. You'll have to have a free Tasty account to do that. Anyway, that's tst.wiki/example notes, and that'll bring you here. And then you can, like I said, you can duplicate this into your profile, and then you'll get all these notes. So you can just kind of see how to use the platform. And then I'm going to also share with you another link, and that is tst.wiki/design thinking. And I'll show you that here. That should take you to this page. Sorry, I got the wrong spelling here. Design thinking. All right, cool. So here, this is published by one of my teammates, Jess. And so this is an example of like a kind of plug and play prompt where you can again duplicate it into your profile. But this is a big prompt, and basically here, like a lot of designers use this design thinking approach. So if you wanted to see what it's like to use like a sort of plug and play prompt, you can just add a problem you want to solve here, add in what you're thinking about in terms of how you solve it, and add in some details about who it's for, and you'll see that Tasty will help you generate this beautiful design thinking report with hypothetical market research and a lot more. And this takes a lot of time usually, and you can do it in just seconds. Anyway, I hope you found this helpful. If you do like this video and you like what you're seeing with Tasty, collaborate with friends, invite them to your prompts, invite them to your notes. And if you have any feedback for us, please just click here and let us know. We want to know what you think because we want this to be fun and cool and make AI personal, human, and powerful for everybody.